Lorena Chavez. I'm the TOSA, or resource teacher at the middle school.
So I'm actually gonna go way back to where our journey started, when our principal, Mr. Torres, took charge of this school, that leadership position. The school was really disjointed. So we really had to set the groundwork for where we wanted to move forward. We had about 1,200 students at that time. This is about 6 years ago. And we were in PI 5+++ years. Our population is about 96% Hispanic, 76% receive free and reduced lunch, and 73% of them are EL students. So we know that type of students and the needs that they come with. So that was kind of where our starting ground happened. And like I said earlier, when we came in, we knew there was a lot of work that needed to get started. And so we had to do the building blocks. I mean, we had to look at our curriculum. Our teachers needed to look at the standards, their pacing guides. It was kind of at that level. And started giving the assessments, not just bits and pieces here and there. Everyone's giving the assessments at this time. So we really needed to go back to that level with that. So, and then the other piece to it too was beginning to analyze that data, to actually sit down and have those powerful conversations about it. And what really needed to be built in order to do that was our PLCs. The work with the PLCs started happening. And because we couldn't move forward without that collaboration piece set in place. So that's kind of where the journey started. We've made gains, averaging about 20-point gains every year, celebrated every single year. But we knew we needed more. We work in layers at SYMS, is how I kind of say. We keep adding piece while we maintain. We need to add. We can't plateau. And so we began to, our teachers were doing the peer coaching. Our teachers were in there doing demo lessons. But we knew we needed more. And so we reached out as an administrative team and found some coaches. And we went with Storm Enterprises. I don't know if you are familiar with World of Storm. And those were the coaches that we brought on about 2.5 years ago. And I don't think that work could have really started if we hadn't developed the PLC that we had with our teachers. And so we went forward with the Storm coaching, and they brought to us the best practices that were needed, the commonality across all the classrooms, that high level of student engagement was brought to the table as well. And we saw, as student engagement rose, the amount of students being sent out of class was going down. And so we knew kids are learning, kids are in their classrooms and they're learning. And so that's that other piece we had with instructional coaching. At the same time, our district office was taking a proactive approach, as they say, and because of the PI status that we were in, so they reached out to the county and brought to us the AGB, which is the Alternative Governance Board, and that's where we met Dr. Coulter and his team. And our teachers were getting coaching, but at the same time, at the administrative level, we were getting coaching. We had a coach assigned to us as well, or to Mr. Torres. And I think that said a lot because we were doing what we expected our teachers to do too. It's a constant learning going on. And so with the AGB, they helped us analyze the data. Dr. Coulter was there with us three times a year, meeting with our teachers with release days. It's such a powerful day for them. Half of the day, sometimes it goes longer. They're analyzing the data that they have. And he started really getting into deeper critical thinking. And I think Lorena will touch on that more. But I think the power came that they had to understand what they themselves needed to teach in order for the kids to learn it. And it was the depth of knowledge was so important, not just for the students, but for the teachers to understand as well. So that's kind of where we're there. And then, I don't know, do you want to touch on formative assessments and what we use?
So Dr. Coulter would come to us and analyze the benchmark, the summative assessment data. But between that, we had to develop our own formative assessment, right? So that became a journey in and of itself. And we've progressed to the understanding that formative assessment is a spectrum, but at the beginning, we also had to develop just those unit tests, the chapter tests, the far right, what Dr. Heritage was talking about. So we collaboratively, as a PLC, each PLC would develop our formative assessments, and then with the Storm Enterprises, we developed more smaller chunks, like the learning targets and as measured by the essential questions, as well as checking for understanding. All of that became also part of our formative assessment. But the great power of developing them with the teachers collaboratively, and like Veronica said, really getting them to understand the standards and the items was really critical. It's really important that teachers have a say in how they're going to measure their students. So I think that was really powerful. It allowed teachers to feel like, okay, I know what's coming next, and to discuss it. So that was really important. But other assessments that we use are common assignments and performance tasks. Now with the onset of Common Core, Dr. Coulter has exposed our staff with performance tasks, and we've gone through the process of calibrating some of these performance tasks, and that has been really important. It was like Veronica said, a layer, an additional layer. We have our formative assessments, but now we need to enhance them with these performance tasks, with these common assignments, and with other quizzes and regular formative assessment that's happening in the classroom. And in addition to that, we always looked at our whatever assessment we were working on. We always looked at what vocabulary, what critical vocabulary pieces are needed so that the students really do well in these assessments. So that was a critical piece. As far as analyzing our data with, in smaller chunks, before Dr. Coulter would come on a quarterly basis, we meet on a monthly basis as PLCs, and we analyze our data. We use ORS as our management piece. So I had to also train teachers to use it more effectively. What does an item analysis look like? How will you use this report? So that was part of the training that went on with the staff. And it allowed teachers to understand what it is that they needed to know, what it is that students needed to know. And of course, with the important piece being to provide students meaningful, effective feedback. And teachers were also trained in a structured error analysis protocol, where it's a process that students need to take on after every common assessment. Students need to analyze their results and take a second look at the assessment without knowing how they did, and look at specific items using, again, item analysis report that the teachers have. So that was a real powerful piece, really giving the kids effective feedback on how they're doing, and how they could improve, exactly. We also, I think you mentioned it, develop our SMART goals, and the goals reflect what learning needs to continue, what needs to be reviewed, and then what is the new learning that needs to happen. And we also develop activities or lessons together collaboratively to meet the essential learning targets. And we edit our formatives. It's a process. We have to continuously edit these assessments to make them more meaningful and to ensure that they are providing us with the data that we need. And as far as the Common Core, our teachers are currently in training. Some of them, or all of them, are enrolled in the academies that the county is offering. And it's the transition. It's not going to be easy, but the exposure is starting to happen. But I think the biggest and the most important piece is the collaboration is there, because as we move towards such higher level thinking and critical thinking, the fact that teachers are collaborating, that they have a common language, I think that that's going to be the biggest, most important part as we transition into the Common Core. And we've met some of our
so just kind of saying where we're going into with this Common Core thing, and how she said that our teachers are already coming to these trainings. But I think it's so great because when we started rolling out all of this work with SMART goals and stuff and building our PLCs and then bringing on the coaches, and then here comes AGB, our teachers were kind of like, whoa, what's going on? This is a lot, It was a very overwhelming feeling. But now that we're entering the Common Core, it's here, and they're coming to the county trainings, they come back and instead of just looking like, oh my gosh, deers in the headlight, or so overwhelmed, it's like, yeah, we're here, we got this, we've been working on this. So I think that's the greatest feeling, and we're feeling confident going into the Common Core. We feel really confident continuing our journey with this path. So in 2011, you know, we met 19 out of our 21 targets were met. Our goal is to meet Safe Harbor, right? And it was one group. It was our special ed group that had never been a target group in the past. And so, okay, we knew who they were. And then last year, we did meet 17 out of our 17 things. So we met Safe Harbor. Special ed was not a target group, but even in ELA, because we still wanted to focus on them, they would have met it if they were a target group. So we were really, really proud of the work done with our special ed department. They are an integral part of the PLC for both language arts and math. So, we met that group, and then based on all the indicators that we work with now, we don't want to wait till August to see the results. We want to know if we're on track to meet what we need to meet. We're pretty much set in place to meet it again and meet Safe Harbor again. So we're really, really proud of all the hard work. It's been a lot of hard work, and I know there's a lot more to come. But we have a great staff and great leadership. So that's our story. It's not over yet. That's our story.
And from being in the classroom to stepping out of the classroom, I've noticed a big change also in the students. They are also highly academic, just similar to what you were saying, that they know what they need to know, and teachers are collaborating, like I said before, they're collaborating, but students are too, and it's a common language. When it's a common formative assessment, everyone's speaking in the same language at the same time, it's not as disjointed as it used to be back when I was in the classroom. So.
Thank you. My